balabale ebe ke etsa mohatla ka tsona ha ke qeta ke nke mahlokwana a mabedi ka faseletse ka ule ebe ke khurumetsa ka plastic ebe ke nka ulwa ka etelele ha ke qeta mo ke na le kite ebe ke ikufisa lefaufau ntse ke matha empa ke fihla mona Durban Scobra Beach ba ntse ka kiteboarding hore na ke ka utla ke tarakana moboko empa dula le nna ntse ke tlo fumana haholo ka papadi ena ya kiteboarding. Baron, can you briefly tell us about the kiteboarding event that's happening here today?
Basically, it's a local competition, also longboarding and kite surfing, and it's just basically to promote the sport as well, get more people involved, and for the local guys that are really good at the sport to show us what they can really do.
What are the rules around the sport?
Well, there's no hard and fast rules. You can do it wherever there's water and where there's wind. But there are instructors that it's very advisable that you go through a course with instructors. I'd say about 8, maybe 10 hours of instruction, and they'll direct you in the right way that you can actually, get the sport right without injuring yourself.
And how do you think the future is looking for kiteboarding in South Africa?
It's growing daily. In Cape Town it's very big, Durban it's big, and more people are coming onto the scene every day. We go down to the beach and we just see new faces, we just see the instructors with new people doing more and more lessons, and more and more gear is being sold, so it's growing very fast. A lot more people are coming down and actually asking questions, whereas in the past people would actually stay away saying, it looks too extreme, it's not for me. But now more and more people are actually coming forward and saying, well, can I try it? So it's growing, yeah.
Lollipop, can you just tell us what's happening here today, what kiteboarding is all about?
Kiteboarding is basically a wind sport. It's an amalgamation of surfing and playing around with your kites. So basically it's extreme sport of surfing, if you can get any more extreme than surfing. And it is the most addictive sport you have ever seen. It is really so addictive.
Wow. And what rules are involved in the sport?
Basically, any sailing rules, we follow the sailing code because it's done on the water. You've got right-of-way rules. You get taught them when you attend a basic course, and they actually are very important. Otherwise, you can land up with horrendous accidents, people running into each other, just general, big messes on the water.
You need to know how to swim in order to do kiteboarding.
Yes, you do. It definitely, because it's a water sport, you're going to need to know the basics of being able to swim and being able to tread water for 5 minutes if there is a problem, just like diving. You can't expect a 5-year-old to try and do the sport if they can't swim. But if they're a very competent swimmer, there's no problem at all. Because we're always saying, we never go out further than you can swim back in. So you have to be prepared to swim, especially when you're learning.
Okay, tell us, what has been done to actually develop this sport, especially in the rural areas?
I know that Gavin and Bruce up in Durban have done a lot with, they used to be car guards, and they've actually implemented them into the sport. They're now the general caretakers. They've brought them up, they've given them a lot of coaching, and they've given them free equipment and lots of time and energy and effort. And they actually are the developmental kiters in the area. They are excellent kiters and a lot of fun to be around as well. But I think slowly, it's slowly, because it's such a new sport, it's still getting out there. So it takes time to get things out there, and a lot more knowledge, and maybe just getting the word out there that there actually is a sport like this. So, yeah.
But do you think the future is promising for kiteboarding in South Africa?
Oh, definitely. I mean, look at surfing. 20 years down the line, and especially if you're female, there cannot be a better time to join the sport now, because there is just so few female participants in the sport that it really is. The future is definitely a lot brighter. Technology is improving all the time, and people are just getting a lot more aware of their active life, and this is a great sport to do that in.
And what do you think are the challenges that women are facing in this sport?
Really, for me, it's a case of not having other women in the sport. The big challenge for me is I kite with a bunch of 20 men, and to be able to do that, there's one other girl, Jade, and we try and edge each other on, but the men just progress so much faster, and you've got to try and compete with men in the same arena, and it's difficult to get women to be able to boost you and your self-confidence and your tricks that you're doing and everything like that. So yeah, there are challenges, but they are coming right. There's a lot more women being taught, and it's getting there slowly.
And what do you think women need to do to tackle those challenges?
You know what? It's just a case of getting up the nerve to be able to come and kite. I mean, the sport is fantastic. It is so addictive. When you actually land your first jump, and not even landing your first jump, it's when you just get up on the board for the first time, you are just like, oh my goodness, this sport is and it's just a case of getting over your fear and being able to say, I can do this.
Hey, thotse se jwale jwale. Ke a tshepa hore ha o no terekane boboko jwale ka nna ha motho a tla o jwetsa ka kiteboarding nako e tlang hobane nna ne ke terekane boboko empa jwale he ke tla re ba re o tsamaya ko bona.
The Chinese are credited with using kites for propulsion in the 13th century. In the 1800s, George Pocock used kites of increased size to propel carts on land and ships on the water.